Hello and good morning. This is the Kuhner Report. Fox-a-roni on the microphone here. I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff, who's going to be back on Monday. We are Boston's talk station, AM 680 WRKO. Before we ream Lois Lerner's tushy, let's take a call from Rob. Hi, Rob. You're on WRKO.
Yes. I don't think marching on Washington anymore is going to do any good. Obama's not afraid of anybody or any groups. He'll sit there in the Oval Office, feet up on the desk, on a conference call with the Jew gang, getting high. I mean, listen.
Getting high.
Look at him
dude, you think he smokes?
He's sitting there in front of Perry. They're all laughing. Perry's serious. This is all a big joke. He's shooting pool, drinking beer. With all this serious stuff going on, he doesn't care. Look, I marched down there to D.C. when Beck had his love-in, and it doesn't work. They're not afraid of us. And these love-in fests aren't going to do a thing. Okay. And we all know what really needs to happen.
Yeah, tell us.
Everyone's afraid to say it.
What?
Well,
don't be afraid. You say it here.
They are not going to give up power. You think Obama's going to sit there on his desk and go, wow, look at all the people. I think I better give up some of my power. It doesn't work that way. We have to take it back. Mm-hmm. And the kids on the border, they're so ingrained with what the public schools have taught them. They'll go down there and help bring the people in, not try to keep them out. So, their liberal views are going to do just the opposite of what you're saying. Now, if we had a military training them like we used to have the military, but that too has been taken over by the Obama liberal regime. And so they'd be taught to pamper these people and bring them in. So that won't work.
So what should I do? Just take a gun to my head and end it all right now?
I know. I felt like that's what I needed to do. But,
and that's why God invented weed, right?
Yeah, look, I think there's a way, but nobody really is saying that's the only way. And we have to take it back by force. I know that's taboo, but everybody's dancing around the
subject. And you're the brave guy there, Rob, that's telling us that we need to take the White House by force.
We can't organize because we don't have a leader. He's got control of all the communications. There's no way that we can organize without them knowing exactly what we're going to do.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. They know everything about us because they're reading all our emails and monitoring our phone calls. You're absolutely right. Thank you very much, Rob. Hey, you know what? In conjunction or adding to what Rob said, I was sent an article about, this is written by a doctor, Dr. Haberman, who says Obama has a mental disorder. Have you heard this? He labels him a pathological narcissist, and there's no greater insanity, according to this doctor, than electing one as president. Obama has an air of haughtiness in his demeanor. He's shallow. Never a politician in this land has had such quasi-religious impact on so many people. I think there's this Obama drug effect. Really. Not dissimilar to what we saw around the late 30s, early 40s in Europe. Not dissimilar from David Koresh, Charles Manson, Stalin, Saddam Hussein. Really. All narcissists. Now, what can we say about Lois Lerner, except for the fact she should be arrested? I mean, when she pled the fifth right out of the box, I knew there was trouble. I can't stand the IRS anyway. No one's emails just disappear. And if you do, you get a 25-year-old tech nerd to find them. You get that's another job for these college kids with no work. Go stick them on Lois Lerner. Go through her crashed computer. I can tell you, if the IRS wanted data from my computer, they'd get it awfully quick. Even if I had said it crashed. They would have my butt in a sling and piece it together. They would take that computer apart, put it back together, Like it was a one-of-a-kind Fabergé egg. Emails don't disappear anymore. You know how they used to? They just don't. Thank God, in most cases, thank God. Unless, of course, you're doing something naughty. Excuse me, Lois Lerner. Should she be arrested? 617-266-6868. Should Lois Lerner be arrested? I feel like not paying my... see, this is the problem. I was going to say, I feel like not paying my taxes until this situation's resolved, but I'd be in jail before she would be in jail. You know? There's no justice in the world. How do you like it when she asks about the instant messaging service, that interoffice instant messaging service, that we need to be careful about what we're putting in writing? Are these things saved? Are they erasable? God. She should also know that her Facebook posts are terminal as well. They just don't go away. Hey, Bruce, you're on the Kuhner Report. I'm Carolyn Fox filling in WRKO. Hi.
Hey, babe.
Babe.
Listen.
What?
I've been listening to you since you came on, and I'm very impressed with you as a person and as a human being.
Thank you, darling.
And especially with a brain.
Oh, that's very sweet. And some would contest that.
One person you left out of the equation was Reverend Jim Jones.
The good Reverend, the mighty Reverend.
Oh, yes. The mighty Reverend. And this is basically what Obama is. And the only thing is that all the liberals haven't drinking the Kool-Aid yet. And when they do, I'm very happy to see him go. That in him. But let that go. A big shout out to Jeff Kuhner. We do miss him, but you have done an awesome job filling in for him. And yes, Lois, please. I mean, come on. If you and I did anything that she did, we wouldn't be talking on the radio here. You wouldn't be on the phone. We'd be talking through a cell. Oh, you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. We got Peter on the phone. Hi there, Peter.
Hey, you're wrong. There's nothing wrong with the world. If this was a Republican president, the oversight in the Democratic Party would be filing for impeachment of George Bush and everybody on the IRS roundtable, especially Lois Lerner, who pleaded the fifth. My God, if the media, it would be, the Congress would be doing their job.
You know what?
Oversight.
Peter, I'm not even understanding what you're saying. Could I put it more? I'm not that smart.
Okay.
Tell me.
There's an oversight. The Congress, the Constitution and the Founding Fathers made it very, very difficult for any laws to pass, and they created these bodies to have oversight. The Republicans are too feckless, number one, and the Democrats are just, they disregard the Republicans no matter what, and the media is 100% for the Democratic Party.
I know. It's really troubling.
You lose oversight when you have a Republican Congress that is feckless and a media that is willing to lie and just not tell the truth and to support the Democratic Party, to
Thank
the
you.
end.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for sharing. It's always good to hear from the radio family. 617-266-6868. Lois Lerner, there's a new push to have her arrested. I think that's a point in the right direction. I think pointing her in the right direction of arrest is a great, great, great idea. I think that's a great idea. 617-266-6868. Obviously, she's a liar. Obviously, there's something funky going on here. You don't have to be a towering genius to figure that out. The question is, just what is it, and how deep does it go? There's a high possibility that the further we get into this story, the more incriminating the evidence is going to be against the United States government. I just have a very funny feeling. Remember a few minutes ago I was saying, I'm not going to pay my taxes until this is resolved. Yeah, I'm a nut. All right, we got Chuck on the phone here at WRKO. Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Carolyn. How are you?
What's up, Chuck? Get it. Up, Chuck?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a couple of quick things.
Yep.
One, I used to work with Catholic Charities about 14, 15 years ago and help them out. And we used to go down to Guatemala through Mexico.
Yeah.
Help the Guatemalan people. It's about 130 miles of border. They're armed to the teeth on both sides.
Oh, yeah, the Mexicans. Yeah, they're crazy. Yeah, they're intense.
Both sides, they won't let anybody in or out of their country without, checking it out with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes, I know.
It behooves me, all those kids are coming up without, a lot of help on both sides.
Yeah.
That was the number one thing I wanted to bring up. The other one was, the president wants $3.7 billion, right? Almost $4 billion.
I want $3.7 billion, too. How's that getting me?
But he turns around yesterday and hands pink slips to every captain and major that are away in Afghanistan and around the service here. And I'm talking, do you know how many men that money would support? And we've got things going on all over the world. And he's giving pink slips to these guys, key members of our armed forces. That was the second thing I wanted to bring up.
I just don't understand why they can't help with the immigration crisis. Why give them pink slips? Just change where their location is.
Exactly.
Keep them employed already. And I'm sick and tired of throwing.
Idea there.
I'm sick and tired.
Good idea there with the college students helping out, but the only problem is the president doesn't have them under his thumb. They probably have to wear hazmat suits, and he'd be afraid of someone if he's not going to let Congress in there to see him, he's not going to let some smart aleck kid out of college see what's going on, because... Yeah,
that's true. They might dethrone him. They might dethrone him, right, Chuck? Thank you very much for calling. Hi there, Tina. You're on the Kuhner Report.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to just let everybody know that I'm a Tea Party conservative. I went to Washington, D.C.
Yeah? That must have been exciting.
Oh, yeah, it was. I went with my 16-year-old daughter and the entire Tea Party back in 2010.
Yeah?
And that was in the fall. Well, lo and behold, in 2011, both my husband and I, all of a sudden, we get an audit from the IRS.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
do you think what a conspiracy?
We also been audited in not just 2011, 2012, and again in 2013.
Wow. So you've had some run-ins with the IRS, and you think it may be related to your affiliations?
I know for a fact it was, because I had to sign my name in the building when I went to go meet our senator here from Massachusetts, who got into a little bit of an argument with my 16-year-old daughter, who was a brilliant girl.
Yeah.
And with the group, and it just seemed a little bit ironic that after that, in 2011, and then in 2012, and now in 2013, got audited from the IRS. And
how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel, Tina?
I am completely disgusted and just appalled. And it wasn't even just the IRS. I even got an audit here in the state of Massachusetts from the unemployment. I was on unemployment for maybe 6 months, and all of a sudden it went from 17,000 to 18,000. Now it's all the way up to 21,000 that they're saying that I owe them.
Oh,
so I said, there's no possible way. I mean, so all in all together, and my husband and I both hardworking nurses.
Right.
No way in hell that we owe over $150,000.
Oh my God! So I'll see you in jail.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what they did. They put a freeze on my husband's account. We got in touch with an attorney. They unfroze the account. My husband had to give the information out of his account again. They were supposed to take out the money. They never did. And we just got another letter that we're going to have somebody from Washington, D.C. calling us at a certain time in August to find out.
Don't pay the phone bill. Don't pay the phone bill. That way they can't get in touch with you. Thank you very much, Tina.
Thank you.
All right, you take care. Hey, John, you are on the Kuhner Report. Carolyn Fox taking over the helm here just for a few more hours.
I was very unhappy, very sad to hear that lady's plight. And,
I know. Hey, have you ever had an IRS problem?
I'm afraid. I'm scared to death to donate to any type of Republican Party or anything else. I'm afraid to speak up because there are people out there that'll turn you in. I'm just that's
Is this a recent fear of yours ever since this investigation began? Or
absolutely.
have you always been that way, afraid to give to okay.
No, I was horrified to see, let's say, Ben Carson, who has been very vocal for the first time in his life. Ben Carson, the black conservatives, started to get audited. Romney's people who donated to the Romney campaign all got audited. I mean, this is scaring me half to death. Yeah. And I'm afraid to go to these rallies. I'm afraid to do anything because you got Big Brother looking at you. But for my call,
maybe a lot of the radio family feels similarly, which is why we don't get out and protest, because
it's intimidation.
Yeah, it's so messed up that we're just paralyzed by the thought of getting involved. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and the purpose of my call was to let you know that I heard the reports, and you just brought it up briefly, that captains and majors are getting laid off, getting pink slips in the military. I happen to know a few of those things. I happen to have a daughter that's in the military right now. She said, Dad, the morale is horrible. Now, with this coming down the pike, the people scrambling. And
it just sounds like an odd place to be, letting off people from, letting people go from the military when there's so much work the military can be doing for our country. Thank you so much for calling, John. Hi there, Patrick. You're on the Kuhner Report with Carolyn Fox here at RKO.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, aren't we in some scary times when we got to worry about the IRS doing an audit, a SWAT team coming to our house because we made a comment on Facebook?
Yep.
I mean, just look at the society we live in. And that caller earlier that was talking about we need to do more at the border for processing, no, we need a fence. We do need the National Guard there. We need to stop people from coming instead of wasting resources processing it. I got some of his point, but I just think we need a fence.
Well, we do have a fence. I just think that that 3,000 miles of area that we need to patrol and, get control of is, and that's not even our only border problem. We got problems, let's say, at the airports. We've got problems, not necessarily in the north, but we have a lot of border to protect. And that physical fence isn't the only way people enter the country. There are people here that are so-called legal, and they're terrorists, and they end up in the country. So, we've got between the airports and people not being screened properly, and then, creating chaos within our country, and illegal immigration, foot traffic coming across the border. You got problems, penetration all over, potential penetration all over. So, Patrick, but I'm on your side, man, and I really appreciate the call. You have a great weekend. Hey, Joe, you're on the Kuhner Report, 680 WRKO.
Hello.
Hey, Joe, what's going on, man?
Not a thing. This goes a little further than the IRS and things like this. I know guys that have been on construction jobs and on different locals in Massachusetts, and you put a sign on your car, or if you even voice an opinion, you might not get called up when they call up people to do a big job or something like that. It goes that far.
Wait a minute, I don't understand. You put a sign on your car that you're union?
No, that if you're a Republican or you're voting for somebody else.
Oh, like a bumper sticker.
Absolutely, anything. And you could, and they'll approach you too. That, you just got to watch your step.
Wow. Wow.
But you know what? Don't worry about it, because come November, we will win.
I hope so, but it really requires that we get off our tushies and get to the polls. You know what I'm saying? We've got to do our share too. I'm Carolyn Fox. Good morning to you. This is the Kuhner Report. Filling in for Jeff's going to be back Monday. You are listening to 680 WRKO. We've got Marie on the line. Hi, Marie.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Having a large day.
Good. Well, I'm not so good.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what about the ones that come over on visas and never go back? That's another bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
And then another thing, too, I was wondering if you could tell me, how is it they come over on visas, they don't go back, but yet they can put their children into the school system? I don't understand that. I mean, I remember when I put my children into the school system, we had to have all kinds of immunizations and
maybe that's what George Bush's plan was. No child left behind. They were including the illegal immigrants' kids, too. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
No, I'm teasing. That was a really bad joke. And don't talk about children's behinds. Okay, so we've got Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
I turned on this morning and I'm listening to you talk about the fence. That doesn't exist.
What do you mean it doesn't exist?
You're filling low information with more low information.
What do you mean?
All you're going to do is turn on that report and watch it coming across the river. They don't have a fence in the river. The river is 100 yards wide. They're coming over on jet skis.
Well, I know you're teasing. They're not coming on jet skis. They don't all have jets. Mexico's not making jet skis.
Do you watch the news?
Yes.
Have you seen the reports on the border?
Yeah, I didn't see. I saw one dude come over on a freaking jet ski.
And you think there's a fence?
I know there's a fence.
There's a fence across the southern border. How much of the southern border is encompassed by that fence?
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. It's not quite long enough. He's got a good point. We've got to build more. But, why spend the money building more fence when we can't control the fence that we have already? I don't know. It's a huge enigma to me. All right, we are WRKO. We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll continue speaking about Lois Lerner, immigration, the Israel conflict. Lois Lerner should be arrested, and how this affects me and you, oh my God. How many times have you had run-ins with the IRS? Really? Have you ever had a problem with the IRS? I am so petrified of the IRS. I bend over backwards for them. I do handstands for them. Because I think that if you make one little tiny error, like our earlier caller, you end up with these huge bills and your pay being tagged. And the next thing you know, you're in the pokey. It's really a scary time to be living in the United States. And I don't know if it's because we're getting older and we feel less powerless, or I don't know, we did too many drugs in the 60s and 70s. But I don't want to say this, but I'd be one of those kind of people who'd be open to moving to another country at this point. Don't ask me where. But I'd be open to the idea. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back and talk about your IRS horror stories. Or what have you lost in cyberspace? Not that you do anymore, but because everything leaves an indelible impression. But maybe you did a long time ago. I'd love to hear about those stories. 617-266-6868. Hi, I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner. Kuhner Report here at WRKO. And a caller a few minutes ago was saying that there's going to be a candlelight vigil and a protest in Copley Square. It's an emergency protest, candlelight vigil for Palestine. And I think Israelis and Zionists and Americans who are for and supporting Israel should also go down and have a friendly dialogue. What do you think? Okay, maybe not. All right, so let's go to the phones. We got Steve. Hi there, Steve. You're on the Kuhner Report.
Hi, Carolyn. Good to hear your voice again.
Thank you, Steve. Tell me what's going on. What are your thoughts about Lois Lerner, immigration?
I thought on immigration, all these children coming across the border. Actually, they were invited across, I believe, and now I think Obama created a nice crisis. He has no other choice than to invite their parents in just before the election.
Oh,
so they can take care of the children.
I see. It's gone from the Democratic Party to the party all the time party.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, so it's like Cinco de Mayo, but every day.
Yeah.
I got it. Thank you so much, Steve, for calling.
Bye-bye.
And how about Howie? Howie, you've been hanging on there for a little time now. Tell us what your thoughts are.
Good morning. My thoughts are succinct and will be short. I met a very bright young lady yesterday from Russia originally.
Yeah.
A mathematician, a whiz, works for a major corporation, going for a CPA.
And she can't. Is she here as a?
No. I'm not tired. She's fine. She's here.
Okay.
Whatever. And when she said to me, I said, "What do you think the way things are going?" I spent time in Russia myself. She said, you know, this country is becoming what I left.
Oh,
and she said that in a very succinct way, in such a manner, and with sadness, because she did leave the world of oligarchs and so forth, and corruption, on and on and on. And that's all I have to say, but she said that in such a succinct way. This country is becoming the country I left.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. That is pretty intense. Hey, right after the break, we're going to talk about an Australian judge who says incest is best. It's no longer taboo. Hey, I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner, the Kuhner Report. We've got John on the line. I understand, John, you have been audited a bunch of times. Pray tell, what'd you do?
Oh, absolutely nothing. Nothing. The IRS, they're a bunch of wolves right now.
Yeah.
It used to be in the past that they were just government workers waiting to collect their pension. Now it seems like they're all young MBA types that are working on collection.
Okay, like, I got it. Like collections officers, yeah. They get a commission on what they bring in.
Yeah, and there's a conflict of interest. They're just aggressive as hell. And you can sell other people out to get out of certain things, and it's just vicious. And the number of field audits for small S corps or small LLCs has skyrocketed. My accountant was telling me that she'd have one field audit on a small company, once a year. She said now it's just commonplace.
Wow, dude.
And it's just, it's crazy.
I hope they're not listening to us right now.
I know, I shouldn't have used my name.
Yeah, right. Thank you, John, for calling. Hey, so if you think we live in a wacky world, go to Australia. Really. If you think we live in a wacky country, go to Florida. No, listen to this. Check this out, okay? A judge in Australia has been criticized after saying incest may no longer be a taboo, and that the community should accept consensual sex between adult siblings. Ew, nasty. That's freaking gross. Judge Gary Nielsen from the District Court in the state of New South Wales likened incest to homosexuality. We'll get over it. It'll be the next raging thing. I don't think so. From last I understood, when you breed with a member of your family, first cousins, second cousins, closer, don't you get malformed offspring and screwed up kids? And how do we know that it's consensual? How do we know it's not just Big Brother having his way with his younger sister? I think the whole notion is disgusting. Judge Nielsen made these comments during a trial. See what I'm saying? Look at this. A brother charged with raping his younger sister. And this guy wants to legalize incest? I think he's not only from down under, I think he's standing on his head. The man pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting his sister when she was 10 or 11 years old in 1973. Listen to this. But has pleaded not guilty to charges relating to sex that they had in 1981 when she was over the age of 18. He said it was consensual by then. We were both mature adults. You don't think she was suffering from any post-traumatic stress disorder from when she was a kid? Maybe him wielding that gun to her head before he had sex with her when she was 18 and 26 may have had something to do with the fact that she so-called consented to have sex. Incest? Legalize? You gotta be kidding. Really? 617-266-6868. Do you think that's where we're going? Do you think there's any relatability or any relationship between incest and homosexuality? Do you think that incest is the new homosexuality coming to a nation near you?
Well, you know, Carolyn, when you start breaking down the walls of sexuality and making it something that you can parade around
what do you mean
on the
parade
public
around?
square.
What do you mean parade around in a public square? You think people are having sex in a public square? I want to go to that public square right now. See you later. What? No.
No, I'm saying when sexual relations no longer become something that you do in the privacy of your own bedroom, but instead something you celebrate and talk about openly, and you have marches and rallies, and everyone comes out of the closet. Not that anyone cares if you're gay.
I see.
When you make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it continues and continues and continues.
Yeah, we are from a very sexualized society. But I think that's crossing a line. I think the whole incest thing is crossing a line. Though I do have a very hot cousin. His name is Cousin Mark. And surprisingly enough, he works for the government now. In security. I swear, you can't make this stuff up. He was so... But that was when I was young. Let's talk to Freddie. Freddie, tell me about your thoughts on life in general. Incest. Do you think incest is the new homosexuality?
Hello?
Yes, Freddie. Oh, Freddie left us. I'm not so sure Freddie was really interested in talking about incest being the new homosexuality. But to me, you're comparing apples and oranges. And people parading around, as Cooksey just says, parading their sexuality around. I'm guessing that you're not really into homosexuality. Or
no, I really don't care if you're gay or not. It doesn't bother me.
Oh, sure. Your best friends are gay, right?
No, I'm trying to be serious. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But when there's a gay athlete and we have to have a whole huge celebration on ESPN about it, or they want to have, you have to have a huge march and a rally about it. Who cares what you are?
Well, you know what? I think that someday, hopefully, we'll get to a point where people don't care. But apparently, people.
No one cares.
Well, that's not true.
We're at no one cares.
Remember when that football player was making out with his husband on television? People got skeeved out by that. They do care. When that becomes commonplace and we see that image over and over and over again, it won't matter, and that's good for everybody, I think. I think it's good. But the incest thing, no. That can create screwed up kids. That can create, and I think that has less to do, this particular case, in particular, this is a rape case. This isn't a brother and sister falling in love like Hotel New Hampshire by John Irving? Where the sister and the brother, they had a crush on each other. This is how the story goes. And they kept having sex over and over and over again to see if they could get it out of their system. Boy, that's some crazy hotel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's nasty. That's nasty. We are WRKO. I'm Carolyn Fox. I'm filling in for Jeff Kuhner, who's going to be back on Monday. And Jeff doesn't know this yet, but he's going to be leading a march to Washington. And he's going to get all the RKO family members together. And he's going to create some action in Washington. Yeah. We're going to make a fuss. 617-266-6868. I'm saying no to incest. Absolutely. It is not the new homosexuality. And if you're having sex with your sister, man, that needs to stop. And that needs to stop now. Hey, if you're just tuning in, thank you. We are WRKO 680, AM 680. I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner, the Kuhner Report. And if you think the world is wacky because of the IRS, immigration, what else did we talk about? Oh, the whole conflict in Israel. Ugh. Dreadful. We just brought up a story about how an Australian judge is saying that incest will soon be the new homosexuality. That incest will just take time to infiltrate our society as something proper. Do we have any barf sound effects, please? Listen to this story. Okay? This I got from a magazine that I love, an online, it's now online. It's called the Daily Intelligencer. Listen to this story. This is about sexting. Police want to force. This is the wacky world. You can't make this stuff up. Police want to force a 17-year-old accused of sexting his girlfriend to take more explicit photos as evidence. Okay? Listen to this. Prosecutors in Manassas City, Virginia. My Manassas hurts. I don't know about yours. I've been sitting on it all day. Have a warrant to photograph a 17-year-old's penis in hopes of convicting him as a sex offender for sending a dirty video to his 15-year-old girlfriend. So the boy's lawyer tells the Washington Post that after he refused to plead guilty, prosecutors said they would need to just take him down to the hospital, give him a shot, and then take pictures that they need. So if this kid doesn't admit that he sexted his girlfriend, they're going to force him to go down to the hospital, shoot him up, take photos. I can see there's a similarity in that young man's unit to the one we see on camera here. Is that ludicrous or what? I think our world has gone nuts. Just nuts. The 17-year-old goes to school every day. He's a normal kid. He plays football. Granted, I'm not encouraging sexting. I think you got to be a moron to photograph your private parts and send them over. Unless, of course, you're Lois Lerner. That's probably what she's hiding. Oh, my gosh. She was probably sexting or sex emailing or something. And that's why she's pleading the fifth. Maybe it has nothing to do with the IRS. She just happens to work for the IRS. Maybe she's having an affair with somebody in the building. Let us not digress. So this is a really emotionally healthy, supposedly, 17-year-old kid, very normal, says his attorney. Now he's saddled with 2 felonies in the implication that he's a sexual predator. She says, I don't mind trying the case. My goal is to stop the search warrant. I don't want to go through all that with him, taking him down to the hospital so he can shoot himself in front of all those cops. That's traumatizing. Exhibitionism. It's not prudent. It's ridiculous. And while we're on the topic of sexting, which I think is so stupid, you know what? Let's see what Matt has to say. Matt, you're on the Kuhner Report. How are you, babe?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. Hey, having a good time.
You know what this topic reminds me of?
What?
You should just get that gym teacher, that nurse from the movie Porky's there, and she'll compare the tallywhackers.
God, you're not kidding. Can you believe how wacky our world is?
It's absolutely ridiculous. How can they not be brought up on charges for even saying that?
So let me ask you a question. You sound like a young guy. What, in your 20s, early 30s?
I'm actually 32. I'm going to do a photo.
What was that? You're going to do a photo? Is that what you just said? Of course.
No, I said I'm 32, but I'm a goofball.
Oh, okay. You're a goofball. 32. So are you single?
No, I'm happily married.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you're happily married, so I know that you're not doing any sexting, and if you are, hopefully it's with your wife. But seriously, I feel bad for this kid, the 17-year-old kid. Even though he's a moron and he started sexting to his girlfriend, to be prosecuted this way?
They're all doing that these days, though. That's what they're all doing these days, so it's the norm for these kids, you know?
You know what? Do you have any children?
I do. I have a 3-year-old daughter.
Okay, you make sure you bring up that daughter right, and you make sure that she knows what a telephone is used for and what the camera piece on the phone is used for. And it's not
I'm going to do my best to not even give her one of those things.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for calling, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, so on the topic of sexting, all right, here's a story I also read about yesterday while I was watching Fox. This is from The Blaze. Again, you can't make this stuff up. An unsuspecting father got a text message from his daughter. When he opened it, everything changed. It was a text sent to the wrong person. The daughter tried to text her boyfriend a naked picture of herself, but accidentally sent it to her father. Can you imagine how embarrassing that is? Can you just imagine? Have you ever sent a text or an email to anybody and then you press send and oh my God, I can't believe I just did that? I've done that, but not of body parts. I'm just really shy that way. At my age, who wants to see my body parts? But I just can't photograph naked photography of me. That would just make everybody sick. But have you ever sent an email by accident or a photo by accident and it got into the wrong hands? Oh, I got to hear these stories. These stories would, and I know you have. And you don't have to tell me your last name. I just want to know your first name when you call us up here at 68 WRKO. I'm Carolyn Fox, and I'm filling in for Jeff Kuhner, the Kuhner Report. Jeff's going to be back on Monday. He's taking a little time off. I'd really like to know if you've ever sent an email by accident, sent a text by accident, got into the wrong hands. How about if you found out that your son or daughter was sexting? What would you do? What kind of conversation would you have with your kid? Would it be a conversation, or would it be, you're grounded and I'm locking you in your bedroom, you're not allowed to come out all weekend, and no phone for the rest of the month? Would it be tough love like that? I'd really love to know. 617-266-6868, 267-6868. Hey, you know what? Cooksey and Brittany just informed me here at WRKO that Jeff from the Kuhner Report, who's normally here at this time, usually does open phones. Open, what do they call it? Open Lines Friday. All right, so even though Jeff's not here, the spirit of Jeff is sitting behind this microphone. And if you have something that you want to talk about, whether it be sexting, Obama's personality disorder, where he's vacationing, you want to talk about Lois Lerner, Israel, let's go to Stan. Stan, thank you for calling. Are you there?
Yeah, I am, Carolyn. Thank you. Let me introduce myself. Like the mythical white buffalo of Native American folklore, I'm that Jewish Republican in Brookline you may have heard rumored to exist.
You're funny. Yes.
And I want to talk about Israel because I want to put it in the context that it really exists in.
Okay.
You have, if I don't know if your listeners are aware of this, most people are not. But if you take a book of matches that comes with the cigarettes that you buy and you open that up in the middle of an NFL football field, that is the actual proportionality of Israel to the lands that surround it. You have 5.5 million Jews surrounded by 450 million people who are dedicated to their destruction. And those people in Israel are more than just members of a Jewish state. They are the symbol of Western civilization in every possible way. They have a system of laws. If a suicide bomber tries to kill him or herself and survives, the doctors that come to the scene, the triage doctors, will treat the bomber if he or she is more seriously injured than the victim, the innocent victims that he or she tried to kill.
Talk about humanitarian, huh?
Yeah, and they leaflet now the Palestinians who hide behind women and children.
I think there's
great heroes. Yeah, they are now telling the people to don't pay no attention to the leafleting and cell phone calls from the Israelis telling them that they're just coming in to get the Hamas guys. Rather, stay there and be killed, so that Hamas will be able to use that as propaganda.
Right, and human shields, right.
Right, and we really have a situation here. What you don't hear a lot about, for example, that this ISIS army that's forming in Iraq, they're actually going into Christian villages that are offering no resistance whatsoever, and they are crucifying human beings. No, they're crucifying them, Carolyn. But you won't see that on NBC, ABC, CBS, or CNN.
Where do we look at? We're certainly not going to see it on Al Jazeera.
No, you're going to see it on Fox. You're going to say it on Fox. Just the way that you never saw anything about the baby, the abortionist in Philadelphia who killed 400 newborn children by either sticking something through their head or spinal cord. And NBC, CBS, CNN, and ABC did not give that one moment of coverage because the people in those newsrooms don't want to give Americans a choice. They feel morally superior. They're moral narcissists, and they want you to believe what they believe. And they don't even want to give you a choice. If you live in the Soviet Union, you know that everything you read in Pravda is BS.
Right. Propaganda. Right.
But if you're here, you expect to at least be given the truth.
Or two sides of the story.
And treated with the dignity to make up your own mind. So that's what's going on now, and I hope people are aware of it.
Okay, so one quick question.
Yeah.
Because many of the WRKO listeners are up to their eyeballs in running around with kids. They have to have 3 jobs because the jobs aren't paying what they used to, or they got laid off and they're underemployed. And the most important, topic for a lot of our listeners is just getting by to the next day. So a crisis in Israel seems so far removed. How do you explain? I need you to help my radio family here.
Okay, it's
understand.
Around the corner. The guy that we released from a prison in Iraq told a New Jersey police officer who was in the reserves. He said, "I will see you in New York."
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It's coming this way, and it's coming in a very big way. Look, these people, Osama bin Laden 25 years ago said that the United States would use political correctness would be the weapon the United States used to commit suicide. And that's what we're doing. We're not paying attention to the fact that a barbarian horde wants to kill our children, wants to kill us, wants to do away with our lifestyle, everything about us. But we've been so pompous because we say, oh, well, we have nuclear weapons. We have such superior firepower. We don't have to worry about that. But we have to worry about infiltration. We have to worry about people coming to malls. We have to worry about people blowing up planes. We have to worry about people when they get enough in Sweden, Carolyn, it used to have, among all the countries in the first world, Sweden had the lowest rape rate of any country.
Right.
Okay? Now it has the highest.
Are you kidding? I didn't know that.
Yes, and if you are in the media and you report a rape and you make any reference to the ethnicity of the raper or rapists, you go to jail for a year.
In Sweden?
In Sweden. If you were to say, for example, that 5 men from Mogadishu, that many of them come from that country where all the pirates are. I can't remember the name of it offhand. But a lot of them come there. And a month ago, 6 or 7 of them gang raped 3 little 13-year-old girls on their way to a sleepover and brutally raped them and left them for dead. And if it was reported that those men came from Somalia, the country, the reporter would go to jail for 1 year. That's how insane it's gotten.
Yeah, well, and so that's coming to a station near us?
That's coming to a station near us. It's incremental. They move into a country, they join the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts, they say, all we want to do is be part of this wonderful free society.
Yeah.
And little by little, as incrementally they become larger proportions of the population, they start in Texas. When that guy killed his 2 daughters for going out with non-Islamic women, his lawyer insisted to the Supreme Court in Texas that Sharia law be considered.
Ooh. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Welcome to America. I don't know why everyone's in such a rush to get here.
Well,
All right. Thank you very much there, Mr. Mark. Linda, you are on Jeff Kuhner Report, the Jeff Kuhner Report here at WRKO.
Thank you. I applaud what this past gentleman was just saying. But my thing right now is all these civil service people like Lois Lerner, who through their job were able to basically break the law, they should all have their pensions pulled. And I don't understand why nobody seems to be interested in that.
In the Lois Lerner story?
Yes, but some of these other VA people, the leaders of the VA, I think these people should lose their pensions.
Yeah, well, I think they should be thrown in jail, too.
Oh, yeah. That's very good.
Yeah.
You want Lois Lerner and people starting to talk. Remember, they're trying to find out who in the White House knew about it.
Well, see, I think that's where this is going to go. I don't think this is, IRS isolated. I think the more we dig into this Lois Lerner case, the more we're going to find out that the White House is connected. And the more time we waste on, not waste, I don't want to call it wasting, but we know that those emails and there's evidence somewhere in that hard drive.
Right.
The likelihood of those emails having disappeared like boof, like a magic act, is very low on the totem pole there. And I think that it's giving the White House an opportunity to hide their piece in this puzzle. And to wipe out their hard drives. I think it all leads back to the White House.
I do too, but nobody's talking.
Well,
and I think if you start telling people that until they reveal things requested because they are breaking the law just by not
speaking,
having destroyed all that paperwork, which, as we all know, is suspicious.
Yeah.
But they must be very nervous to use that as an excuse.
Have you seen her on television? She looks like hell.
Yeah.
She looks like she's aged 10 years in 15 minutes. Yeah.
And, I mean, we want to get to the bottom of this. We are just wasting time. You pull pensions and you put a stop on the pensions and tell them you do not, until we clear you, we will not pay your pension. If and when we clear you, we will give you everything. And people would stop talking like a fountain.
Yeah, talking like a fountain. Thank you very much, Linda. I feel like I've been talking like a fountain for the past 2 days here. I'm Carolyn Fox. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner, the Kuhner Report. And Jeff's going to be back Monday, and we suggested as the RKO family that Jeff should lead a march to and through Washington, a Just Say No march. Oh, he'll love that idea when he comes back. He's going to say, who is this broad? Who is this broad Foxy? Hey, we've got open lines. Is that what you all call it here? Open line? Open Lines Friday. If there's anything that we've talked about today or in the past couple of days or anything that you've read in the paper that you want to share with the rest of the radio family, we'd love to hear your opinion. The number here is 617-266-6868, 617-268-6868. And, oh, by the way, if you can't come to a phone, that's okay. If all you can do because you're at work or, you just are too shy to call up and do the back and forth, you can text us. No sexting us, but you can text us at 680-680 on your mobile phone. All right, I'd love to read your texts online if you'd like us to. If you don't, you got to let us know that too. But I really would love to hear your opinions on how about that Australian judge, the Australian judge who says incest may no longer be a taboo. I'd like to know what he's smoking. I really would. And when we come back, we can even talk about smoking. Not necessarily the funny stuff, but smoking cigarettes. I'll tell you, it's it's just, I think it's worse than ever. I think more people in cities are smoking than ever before. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just that everybody has to go down and outside around their buildings and smoke because they can't smoke in the offices. Oh, I can't even walk the dogs anymore. Anyway, I'm Carolyn Fox. We'll be back. We're going to talk about smoking and any other thing you want to talk about here on the Kuhner Report, WRKO. Okay. Hi. Good morning. Hey, it's the Kuhner Report. Foxy here for another, 40 minutes or so. Filling in for Jeff, who's going to be back on Monday. We're Boston's talk station, AM 680 WRKO. All right. I know you don't know me from Adam, and I'm not Adam. And I know it's not about me, but I know that one of the hardest things that I ever did was quit smoking. And it was a long, long process. And the reason I quit was I was so tired of hearing my kids whining and fetching and hiding my cigarettes, tearing up packs. And you know what? I was so addicted to the cigarettes that I didn't know how to stop. And it wasn't about my kids. I love my kids so much. It was, how does mommy even begin to stop? Then I stopped, and it, again, long, long time. It took, you really have to be ready for these kinds of things. You have to make a habit seem so gross. You've got to almost do like play head games with yourself, in order to quit. You've got to make what you're trying to quit so toxic that even it grosses you out. There's a hospital here in Maryland, here in the United States, in Maryland, that's banning employees from smoking anywhere on Earth. So what they're doing is drug testing any potential hospital workers to see if they ingest nicotine. And even though we all know that smoking is the number one preventable way to elongate your life, it's still very, very hard to quit. And more importantly, should employees be discriminated against? And are they being discriminated? Can a hospital even do this? Can a hospital force you to take a blood? I guess if it's a private hospital, I guess if they're going to be paying you, they get to pick and choose who they want to hire. I think it's a slippery slope, though. Because if a hospital or any private company, refuses to hire you because you've ingested nicotine, what's next? What if you ingest Pop-Tarts, Lucky Charms, McDonald's? I don't know, I just think it's a slippery slope. Let's go to the phones. Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Thanks for calling the Kuhner Report. I'm Carolyn Fox. What's going on? Open lines.
Yes, well, two things. I wanted to comment on the smoking thing. As a kid, I tried, but I never got into it. I do agree with you. More kids are smoking nowadays than ever before, and they're smoking joints, which is really bad.
Yep. Why do you think it's worse than cigarettes?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, why?
Sure. Well, the drug thing, and plus anything that you're ingesting into your body that doesn't belong there is going to be harmful to you. That's what they don't realize.
Why do you think kids smoke?
They just think it's the thing to do, and they just do it.
They think that it's cool.
I don't know where they get the money to do it, to tell you the truth. It's so costly also.
It's so what?
It's so costly also.
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, my God. What is it, like $11 for a pack of cigarettes now?
I wouldn't know because I don't buy them. But another thing I wanted to call you about is I just want to ask you real quick. I didn't hear on the previous hour. Did you watch Sean Hannity at all last night on Fox?
I don't think I did.
Did you see him at the border with Rick Perry?
Sean, no, I didn't see that. Tell me about that.
Oh, well, if you watch tonight, or I'm sure it'll be repeated.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that what they're doing down on the river there.
Okay.
On the border.
Yeah. What are they doing? They're holding some sort of vigil or something, or?
No, they've got like military boats going up and down the rivers. I thought like I was watching Vietnam. I was surprised.
Really?
But they're not allowed to shoot anything.
They're not allowed to shoot anything, as in guns or video? Video. Oh, okay. Thank you very much for calling. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry I missed that. You know, this is such a great opportunity for Rick Perry to shine like that boy's never shined before. If he's not going to be nominated for the Republican Party, I mean, at this point, I know he's going for it. He got rid of the cowboy boots. He lost a lot of weight. He's wearing those Chrome Hearts glasses. Man, he's looking pretty hot. And that's how I pick my political candidates. Because everything else to me is a joke. I'm not a big political person. I just vote based on looks. How about you, Roger? Roger, you're on the Kuhner Report.
Okay, Miss Fox. I smoke 3.5 packs a day, and right now I'm outside the Salem, New Hampshire cigarette store buying another carton. I love to smoke. I quit 10 years before this, but I missed it so much I went back to it.
Really?
Hey, look, I don't know what's wrong with smoking the cigarettes. They make pot legalized. They're telling everybody pot's all right for you. You can smoke pot and legalize pot. But they turn around and they chastise people that smoke cigarettes. Where's the common sense? Hey, look it. Yeah, it's bad for you. There's nothing that's bad for you. Drinking beer, hard liquor, but people still do it. Are we being chastised? Are we being pushed to the side and separated? Yeah, we are, and we shouldn't. Everything else that's going on, and they go after the smokers. If it wasn't for the smokers, a lot of the kids' health care wouldn't be paid for because they're taxing us through the nose on cigarettes. So where's the problem? They should be encouraging us to smoke.
Oh, so you're saying that we should encourage you to smoke so we can, add money to our coffers here?
Of course. Who else are you going to rob? They're already robbing us from our taxes. You might as well rob us even more. Why
not? You're funny. So you've tried to, you have stopped before,
yep,
and you picked it up again. Do you don't mind the taste in your mouth and the smell of your fingers?
No.
You don't?
No, I smoke them one after another. I'm telling you that right now. Everybody who works with me is going to die. Look, I'm 53 years old. When I go for a physical, they look at my lungs, they go, we can't believe that you smoke so much and your lungs look like they're okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you are one lucky man. Now, are you in a relationship?
Listen, I'm married. I've been married for 20 years. My grandmother was 98 years old, and she lit her cigarette before she died in the nursing home.
That's something. Some say you get hit by a car before you die of cigarettes. I don't know, but thank you very much for calling. I gave it up a few years ago, and man, I'm so glad I did. I feel so much better in shape. I don't stink. My kids aren't hawking me, but it's not an easy thing to do. But the question I'm asking you is it okay for a hospital to just say, hey, we're not going to hire you because you have nicotine in your system?
You know, they do that here.
What do you mean they do that
the New
here?
Balance building, because it's a shoe company upstairs.
You're
not allowed to smoke there's a smoking room downstairs outside.
Uh-huh.
The employees have to go across the street and, hide behind a building. They're not allowed to smoke on company property.
I thought you said there's a smoking room.
They're not allowed to smoke on company property downstairs.
Oh, so they
got to go hide somewhere around the corner.
Well, I know you're against that, but I am so grateful for that because I don't want to be infected by other people's secondhand smoke. I'm doing everything I can to stay healthy, and I feel terrible that I used to smoke at one point in my life, and I can't make up for that. But now that I'm on the other side, I don't want to be around cigarette smoke. I can't even walk my dogs around the block without having to hold my breath going by the buildings because there are so many young people smoking. And the reason they're smoking is because they think it's cool. And I feel like going up to every kid that I see, and again, I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about people in their 20s. I feel like just say, look, you knucklehead, why are you killing your temple? Why are you taking drugs? But it's an insecurity thing. I think people who smoke just don't love themselves enough. Because if you loved yourself enough, you wouldn't take in these toxic chemicals.
You're one of those typical ex-smokers.
Oh, yeah, I am typical.
You're just better than everybody
Oh,
now.
my God. Oh, yeah. No. No.
And you want to tell everyone how to live.
You know what I want to do? I want to show people that they can do it. And there's another side. And I know that there are some people who enjoy smoking. Oh, but I don't know. Just stay away from me. Just stay away from me. Chris, you're on the Kuhner Report. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, I just had a little couple of comments to talk about incest. I'm an incest survivor.
Uh-huh.
And I use the word survivor lightly because I don't like to label myself anymore.
Right, good for you.
But the life that comes after what these people do to you, under the guise of incest, it's only molestation, when truly it's rape.
Yes, it is. Of course it is.
But we don't look at it in a society that way. Oh, he was molested. You know, you look at half the murderers, even in this state alone, after they committed the murder, somewhere along the line they say, oh, he was sexually abused, but that don't count now. When we step out and ask for help, we don't get it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's awful. Just awful. You know, statistics indicate that, 20%, if not even more, of young women before they're 20 have been sexually molested. Again, before they're 20 years old. It's crazy. So it's so common, and you know what it leads to? A really screwed up adult life. Really. Hey, we are WRKO, and we got to pay a couple of bills, and we're going to talk to Dave and Jeff right after the break, and we've got open phone lines here. So you can talk about Lois Lerner, Israel, border control, Rick Perry and his new fashion concepts. You can talk about being hired at hospitals because you eat Cheerios. I don't know. Anyway, we'll be back, and thanks for joining us here at 68 WRKO. We are back. Hello and good morning. Buck Cerrone on the microphone for Jeff Kuhner, the Kuhner Report here at AM 680 WRKO. Open Line Friday. Let's start with Don. Don, it appears to me, are you calling from Massachusetts or maybe somewhere else, maybe in the United States?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, Don, what did you want to talk about? Rick Perry's hairdo?
Well, yesterday you were talking about this contraceptive type of thing, and what I wanted to say about that is this is not political. This is the government trying to get rid of Catholicism, and Christianity will follow. What the president has done, with the military, with not being able to use Jesus, not to be able to, if a commander has a Bible on his desk, he can be punished for it. He's not supposed to do that, this is an attack on Christianity, not on politics because of liberals or conservatives.
What are your thoughts on Israel there, Don?
Israel?
The crisis in Israel.
Well, from what I know and I understand, and I'm pretty well informed.
You sound it.
What I have a problem because from what I understand, going to Russia, the only one that's supporting Christianity in this country is Russia. When Clinton was in office, he ended up sending troops to Bosnia. What was happening in Bosnia, the Muslims were killing the Christians. They used to live side by side. They were killing the Christians.
All right, Don, thank you so much for being so informed. I love it. I love it when you share your intellectualism with us. We are WRKO. Dan, you're on the Kuhner Report. Hi. Dan the man. Daniel. Hi, man.
Yeah, hi. Hey, as far as that sexting goes...
Yep.
Who's got the problem? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to want to, is it the police or the court? I mean, for a 17-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girlfriend, I'm not into the sexting thing and I don't condone it for kids, but I'm saying, what cop would want to, they want to inject them with something to make it get erect and then take pictures of it? I mean, isn't that kind of like real whacked out there?
Oh, yeah, that's why I talked about it. Yeah, it sounds like somebody just wants to watch a 17-year-old if you know what I mean. I think that I wouldn't call the cops or the judge or the lawyers pedophiles, but it sounds a little kinky to me. I agree with you. I agree.
What man would want to? I mean, it's like charging them with 2 felonies. I mean, what a waste of time. Look at everything else that's going on.
Yep, I hear you. I hear you. It's a wacky world we live in. That's why I call this segment, You Can't Make This Stuff Up. There are so many wacky stories and priorities, screwed up priorities in our world, and this is just one of them. It's taking resources that could be used for something much more important than, punishing and fining a 17-year-old kid for sexting his girlfriend. Thank you very much. We've got Dave on the phone. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Carolyn. How you doing?
Having a large day.
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the smoking cigarettes thing.
Yeah.
If I was going to go into to have surgery, I would prefer to have a doctor, if he did smoke the cigarettes, then to smoke cigarettes instead of smoking weed.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
Well, you're preaching to the choir. Yes, I would, because I don't want a guy who's got cannabis in his blood, opening me up and operating on me, because I have a sneaking suspicion that the turnaround on cannabis, the shelf life of cannabis in your blood, isn't as quick as we all might think. I remember, smoking a couple of times in my life, and I could feel it for a few days after. I can't live like that. I've got to be able to talk to geniuses like you. I got to do a job, So I don't know if it's one or the other. Just because you smoke cigarettes doesn't mean you're not going to smoke pot, or you are going to smoke pot. I think you got to separate.
Well,
yeah.
No, what I'm saying is that I would prefer that if I were to have surgery, that the doctor, if he did smoke, which chances are he doesn't, but I prefer that he be in his right mind, because it's my life that's on the table.
How about if he drinks?
Well, that too. I mean, if he's got a problem with drinking, he shouldn't be operating.
How about if he drinks, period, Dave? How about how long does that last in your blood system?
Well,
how about...
I think it's around 2 or 3 days, but, the euphoria usually leaves within, I don't know, it depends on when you stop and when you drink.
Yeah, it depends what?
It depends on when you stop drinking, whether or not you're eating, taking care of yourself. I mean, if the guy's a complete drunk, I wouldn't want him operating on me. But it's crazy, I mean, I know a guy downtown who owns a business, and his business depends a lot on cigarette sales. And he told me his business is down like 39%.
Oh, because of the cigarettes.
They hiked it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Why would you want a government who is a failure in their own economic rights, let's say, to tell businesses how much they should charge somebody for a product that they sell?
Well, I hear your point. Dave, thank you so much for calling. You're so kind to take the time out of your day to call. And I'm sure that Dave has never smoked a cigarette or had a drink. I bet you anything. All right, I'm Carolyn Fox, and this is the Kuhner Report. We have Open Line Friday for a few minutes more, and Jeff is going to be back on Monday. I know. It's a long time coming, but we gave him a rest. Isn't that nice of us? We gave him a rest. He's going to come back refreshed, and he's going to entertain the bejesus out of you when he comes back. And that's because he's going to be of clear mind. Just like yesterday when we were talking about vacations. Vacations are really important to take. You don't have to take a whole week, but, a little day off here, a little day off there. You come back refreshed. You know what I'm saying? All right, our phone number here is 617-266-6868, 617-268-6868. We are talking a little bit about smoking, but if you want to talk about something else, you can. There's a hospital in Maryland right now that won't hire you under any circumstance. Whether you're looking to be a janitor, a nurse, a doctor, if you have nicotine in your blood, they're passing over you. You're not getting the gig. Would that make you stop smoking if you knew that employers are going to pass on you because you have nicotine in your blood? Is it really edgy and a slippery slope having companies take your blood, period, before they hire you? What do you think about that? And if they're not hiring you because you smoke and you have nicotine in your blood, what does that lead to? Does that lead to, I don't know, giving you a blood test and finding out that you eat Pop-Tarts and Lucky Charms? Where does this end? Does that allow a place of work, private corporation, to not hire you because you smoke, you eat Lucky Charms, and you're the wrong religion? Oh, God. Oh, please. I don't know about you. These are scary times, and I'm just putting these questions out there. And if you want to talk about them, great. If you don't, I get that too. All we're trying to do is come up with solutions. I ask the questions. You guys are so smart in the radio family. I just want to hear you and your opinions about how wacky this world is. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'm Carolyn Fox, in for Jeff Kuhner, and we'll be back right after these. Hello. All right. This is the Kuhner Report. Carolyn Fox here, and before we leave, I'd like to speak to Vera. Vera, you're on Boston.
Hi, Carolyn. Good morning.
Hello, darling.
Your topics are so controversial, and they are so double standard that, it's hard to pick one. But let's go with the cigarette.
Okay, such a double standard. Okay, let's go for the butts.
No, I'm not saying that you are double standard. The laws, what they are doing is double standard. Okay. I am an ex-smoker myself.
Yeah.
And I quit about 18 years ago.
Aren't you glad you did?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the best to see. I imagine how many thousands of dollars I have saved and my health and everything else that goes with it.
Yes, I hear you.
That being said, how can you be tested for smoking a cigarette? And the welfare people cannot be tested for drugs.
Wow, you are preaching to the choir there, too. Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah, double standards. I hear what you're saying. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, except for that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the welfare people, they can do whatever they want with the EBT card. But we, the taxpayers, we are not free to do whatever we want.
Yeah, I agree. We need our heads examined. You know what I'm saying?
I think the government needs to really take a good look at themselves and say, what the hell is going on in here?
Yeah, you know what? I think Obama is going to be able to step back for a few days and take a good look at himself. Thank you, Vera, for calling. The Obamas are taking this nice vacation August 9th. They're going to be away till the 24th. They're going to Chilmark, Martha's Vineyard, and the cat's out of the bag. Check this house out. Check this out, all right? So it's 7 bedrooms, 9 baths, 8,100 square foot house, and sits on a 10-acre lot. It's assessed at more than $12 million, 17 rooms in total, and has water views of the Vineyard Sound. I'm sure that the residents of Chilmark are thrilled by the fact that the President of the United States will be there. There certainly won't be any security checks going on for anybody who's in the near perimeter. But anyway, I think it's great that maybe Obama will have the chance to think about what he's done in the past few years as president, and maybe decide to take a different course of action. Maybe this is why he's taking his vacation. You know I don't believe any of this. This is not why he's taking a vacation. It's just what he does. When the going gets tough, Obama takes a vacation. So there. Hey, another thing, I want to thank you and the WRKO radio family for the opportunity to serve and to fill in for Jeff the past couple of days. It was great to meet you. It was great to be back here. It was just great to hear what you all have to say about, the topics like immigration, Lois Lerner, the IRS, your zany and crazy IRS scam stories, audit stories, things of that sort. And by the way, if you liked what you heard, I am on Facebook. It's the Carolyn Fox Show, and on my Facebook page, of course. And I do a lot of stuff on the internet. So if that appeals to you, if you like to listen online, you can find me again, CarolynFoxShow.com. Anyway, have a great weekend. It was so my pleasure. I hope you have a lot of fun. You go outside and frolic in the sun and enjoy the summer while we have it, because it's only a matter of months before we have our winter coats back on. Okay? Jeff will be back. Thanks again for the opportunity. The Jeff Kuhner Report. Carolyn Fox signing off here at AM 680 WRKO.
News at the top and bottom. Talk in between.
And you and I are here to tell them that's enough.
This is AM 680 WRKO, Boston.